as easily and get a score, although Mamadi Diakite is becoming more of a threat. But they're a better perimeter shooting team. They're a little bit smaller with Kihei Clark in there running the point. I mean, he's tiny, so a little smaller on the perimeter, but they can really shoot it.
Before we start talking about the games tonight, Jay, let's see how close Stephen A's nightmares are to coming true. I gave you the 4 winners last night: Gonzaga, Texas Tech, UVA, and Purdue. The way they played last night and in the games leading up to this in the tournament, who are you most impressed by, these 4 teams with a shot to go all the way?
Probably Gonzaga, because they can play at a high level on both ends of the floor. And the way they accepted the physical challenge from Florida State, out-rebounded Florida State, a much bigger and in measure more athletic team across the board. And then offensively, Gonzaga is really good. I mean, Rui Hachimura is a lottery pick, and I think Brandon Clark showed that he's one of the premier athletes. I mean, I think he had 15 points, 12 rebounds, and 5 block shots against a super athletic front line against Florida State.
When I watch Rui Hachimura, everybody says this, he's a lottery pick. I got to be honest, Jay, I see a top 5 pick. This guy, he's unique. He looks like an NBA player. I'm talking about, obviously, Zion, Ja, RJ, Culver from Texas Tech, and then Rui. Who am I forgetting about? DeAndre Hunter?
No, that's fair. I mean, you can make a great case for him being up there. And Hachimura is an excellent mid-range player, very strong. I mean, he's got a great frame and very athletic, and he's competitive. And that was a big question mark when he first got to Gonzaga, was how bad does he want it? Does he want to be great? And he's shown that he does want to be great because he is.
Mark Few, and I've been asking everyone we talk college basketball with about this. What he's done is remarkable, but does a championship for him, like, is he already in the pantheon of the upper elite most level, or does he need a championship to validate that?
I think every coach needs a championship to be considered among the all-time greats by the average fan. I think Mark Few is among the all-time greats. He will be in the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame in a walk. He's a Hall of Fame coach. The thing that's impressed me most about Mark is not just what a great coach he is, but he's comfortable in his own skin and he's happy where he is. And so, I mean, years ago when other big time, quote unquote, big time jobs came at him, he'd say, hey, are you thinking about leaving, to win a championship? Because we can win one here. And he was the only guy, I promise you, he was the only guy saying that back then. And now he's proven that he can do it. I mean, in 2017, they lost in the final to North Carolina, and they had a great shot to win that game and almost did. And they've got a great shot to win it this year. They're more than capable. But the idea 10 years ago that Gonzaga could be a national champion,
ridiculous.
It was ridiculous to everybody but Mark Few.
And they have a shot every year.
They have a shot every year now. I mean, they've been to the Sweet 16 like 4 or 5 straight years now. I mean, it's ridiculous. Now they're in the Elite Eight again for the 3rd time in 4 years, and they'd been in 1999 was the first time ever.
Is that real quick? Is that the real key? Just taking as many shots as you. In other words, in a one-and-done tournament, if you're the kind of quality team that can get to the 16, to the Elite Eight, is that the key to winning a championship in your view, like just having as many ping pong balls in the lottery as possible?
It certainly helps, but I think sometimes when people are saying, hey, you got a better shot to win if you're in a Big Ten, but well, how many Elite Eights has Indiana or Purdue been to, or Final Fours have they been to in the last several years? It's not like they're knocking at the door all the time. And Gonzaga is staked out. And Mark Few has gotten a ton of coaches fired over the years because their presidents are saying, why can't we do this like Gonzaga?
I went to those.
But they're all saying that. And I've told my friends at these places, next time your president says that, pull out U.S. News and World Report saying, hey, I've been meaning to ask you, why aren't we in the top 25 of this as a university? They'll have a bunch of excuses for that.
Let me spin forward. Stephen A.
Few's not running the program.
Let's get to some of your. By the way, Stephen A., how's your bracket doing after last night?
I don't want to talk about it.
What's wrong?
You were 99.
I had Tennessee going to the Final Four.
Right.
I had Tennessee going to the Final Four.
I do know
that
who
messed
you
up
have.
my bracket.
I do know who you have as your national champion pick, and I think it's a good one, actually, and that's North Carolina. Yeah. North Carolina, though, could be without Nasir Little, who's, I don't know, he has the flu, he's sick. How big a hit is that, Jay, North Carolina possibly without Nasir Little?
It's a hit because they're playing Auburn, a team that likes to get up and down. So having the ability to have another superior athlete out there in Nasir Little, who's coming off a 20-point game, is really starting to play his best basketball, it hurts. And he's also a great finisher in transition, an excellent offensive rebounder. So it takes out another body. But I don't think it'll faze North Carolina that much. but it certainly hurts. And Nasir Little is a really good talent. And if I don't know if he's going to come out, but if he comes out, he's a first-round pick without question.
You know, we spent so much time talking about Duke, and we see what Zion Williamson, what he's made of, and how legit he is. As a matter of fact, they lost to Virginia Tech, but that was without Zion Williamson. I'm interested in Houston. They go up against Kentucky tonight, and they won over 30 games this year. Talk to me about the Houston Cougars, what you expect them to bring to the table, particularly against Kentucky. How legit are they?
They are very legit. Kelvin Sampson, who I've known for a million years, came into that program and absolutely resurrected it from the ashes. They had nothing there. They used to play in Hofheinz Pavilion. It was an absolute pit. You couldn't even take recruits there. It was so bad. Now they've revamped it. Their facilities have improved, and he's brought in a bunch of tough kids that can really play. Corey Davis Jr. is one of their guards. Armani Brooks. Both those guys can really shoot and really score. And they're excellent defensively. That's one of the things they do best is they limit your paint touches. They make you score over the top, and they limit you to one shot. They're an excellent rebounding team, even though they don't have a ton of size. So I think they're going to be a challenge, certainly for anybody they play. But for Kentucky, if Kentucky doesn't have P.J. Washington, I favor Houston in the game. That win that Kentucky had over Wofford, people don't realize how good that win was to be able to do that without Washington. He's their leading scorer and rebounder. He's, I think, their best shot blocker when he's in the game. And not having him in there, I think, changes everything for Kentucky.
In a one-and-done tournament, I never pick a team against the field. It's nuts.
Sure.
But for Duke this year, how far do they have to get before they're indemnified from, before they can say, all right, look, we had a successful season, whatever you thought we were going to do?
Well, it depends on who's criticizing them, because if they lose without winning a championship, there are going to be those who say, aha, you can't win with one and dones. It's experience wins, and you're going, wait a minute, there are only two teams that have a stable full of one and dones. That's Duke and Kentucky, and both of them won championships in the last several years. Of course, experienced teams. So if you look at the field, it's 2 versus 66. Sure. So of course, experienced teams have a better chance to win because there are more of them. But if you look at the way Duke and Kentucky have won since 2010 or whenever Cal got there. They've won at a higher rate than a lot of these experienced
So does Duke
teams.
have to get to the Final Four? Do they have to get
Yes.
to the championship round? Where is it where the consensus will be, okay, fine, they didn't fail, they didn't have a disastrous tournament?
Yeah, I mean, anybody who says that the team failed, if they lose in this round to Virginia Tech, people who say that, well, this team failed, I think that's unreasonable. But certainly, if you think they're a championship caliber team, you could say just like Tennessee, or they certainly didn't perform to the level that we expected, because I think they're a Final Four team. So if they don't get there, they're going to have to listen to that. But that's just the way it is being Duke or North Carolina. But especially Duke right now with Zion Williamson and all the hype that there's been. I think the hype has been more than fair because he's more than lived up to it.
I might have to consider the prospect that I'm unreasonable.
You think
Final Four not enough?
You think it's a
Final Four
failure?
at a minimum. Final Four at a minimum.
I think they have to make the Final Four. I agree.
So they have no banquet afterwards, no handshakes, and afterwards it's just been a failure.
Say, see
Everybody
you at the
go your
draft.
separate ways and get the heck out.
Shame.
We got to leave it there. We'll still be back. Max, Stephen A., thanks, Jay. Appreciate
Thank
you doing
you.
this. Okay, still to come on First Take. Was this a wasted season for LeBron and the Lakers? We'll debate that topic. Stephen A., what else do we have?
Oh, we always got a lot more to come up on First Take. Is Giannis making a huge mistake by working through an ankle injury and not sitting out? Also, is it okay for Philly fans to boo Bryce Harper in his debut? And why the NFL should be mad at the Pittsburgh Steelers for how they handled the Antonio Brown situation. All that and more coming up. First Take in the house. Let's get it.